Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the Viva-Mundo webinar. Today we are joined by Alex Clark and Katie Garcia, who will be presenting the UC Santa Barbara international programs to all of you in sunny California. Now today, obviously we are using Zoom as the presentation box. I would love you guys to ask questions throughout the whole presentation. Please do, I welcome you to. Of course, if you can, please do ask any questions in the Q&A box at the bottom. And just a little bit about Viva-Mundo and what we do and how we help you students abroad. We are essentially a site to help everybody on their way to the next travel destination, study destination in their life. We deal with visa advice, applications, all of the things you need to know if you are going to study abroad. Now, other than that, I just want to say to the people on Facebook Live, please do register if you want to ask any questions throughout the webinar. That is no problem. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to hand the floor over to you guys, Alex.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Hello to everyone. Welcome, I guess, so to speak, to UC Santa Barbara. We are here today to talk about a few of our international programs and talk a little bit more about our university in general, answer any questions. As you can see there, that's our campus, and behind me I have the same photo. And one of the things that you know first and foremost about UCSB is that from this picture is that we're right on the water. We're in a beautiful location in Southern California, and I use this photo strategically because it's my favorite, but it also really shows the beauty and the surrounding and the campus that is UCSB. So that's one of our proudest things is our campus. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that and we'll get into our programs. But again, welcome and we'll introduce ourselves. So my name is Alex Clark. I manage the international programs here at UCSB. I've been at UCSB for 2 years now and have really been enjoying it. Yeah, it's just been wonderful. So I have a counterpart that her name is Jing Hao. And right now she is on maternity leave, so you probably won't be hearing from her anytime soon. But she and I work pretty closely together to make these international programs work. So that's Jing. And then on the call as well is our immigration advisor, Katie. Did you want to say a few words or just say hello, Katie, at this time?
Hello, welcome, like you said, so to speak, to UC Santa Barbara. I would be your immigration advisor if you decided to come and join us for any of our international programs. And I just want to say, I hope that you're taking everything in, listening, and I hope that you'll decide to come and join us. And I'm looking forward to the presentation.
Great. Thanks so much, Katie. You'll hear from Katie a little bit more later on in the presentation about immigration, any questions you have about those finer details. So I wanted to start kind of this presentation a little bit about UCSB in general. Not so much our international programs at this point, but just kind of what is UCSB, what are some of its achievements, what are some of its really strong points. So that's where I wanted to start. So now in this photo, we're looking back at the campus there, as opposed to the first photo you saw. So you can see that not only do we have UCSB is the only university in the US that has its own beach, but we also incorporate the mountains as well. So it's a very outdoor, very great, nice setting for study as well as for activities. Social activities, but also physical activities, getting out, doing lots of fun stuff. So the natural beauty around UCSB is really great and really helps students to, take a break from studying at times. In addition, I also like to bring up at this point that Santa Barbara in general is a very safe community. Students that come to UCSB, most of them will live kind of, as you see over here, in a little town called Isla Vista, right next to the campus. And it's basically a student community, and is a very safe place to live while you're going to school. So that's a really big plus for us. In the UC system, places like UC Berkeley or UCLA are in very big, large cities, whereas UC Santa Barbara is in a really tight-knit, small community, and that really helps a lot of students. So we do have about 22,000 undergrads and about 3,000 graduate students. And we'll talk a little bit more about the rankings, but as a UC, those numbers are pretty small. Some UCs, like I mentioned, UCLA or Berkeley, they're they have a lot more students, a lot more going on campus. So if you kind of prefer to be in a smaller-ish location and a much more close community, then Santa Barbara is the place to be. Here's a few figures at a glance about UCSB in general. Kind of break it down by student population, where are students coming from, and the ratio of student to faculty, things like that. So in addition, also our chancellor is pictured there. As you can see, he's been our chancellor for quite a bit, and that really, I think, speaks to the leadership of UCSB. Take a few seconds to look over some of that information so that you get an idea. You can also see that, international, this is, when it says international there, that's for matriculated international students, those students that are pursuing a degree. For our international programs, all of our international students are coming to UCSB for a quarter abroad, a semester abroad, not full time. They're coming for a short period of time. But our student body in general with international students has quite a few of students from around the world. So that's a really nice thing, and I think I think Santa Barbara in general around the world has a good reputation as a great place to be, not only to vacation in some circumstances, but also to come and study and live and take part in the culture. So those are some of our facts and figures. We always like to brag a little bit about our successes, and one of them is the Nobel Prizes that some of our faculty have achieved in years past. So there's a few Nobel Prize winners that have been on faculty, and as you can see, a lot of them come from physics, chemistry, and then one from econ, and those tend to be our strongest departments as well. So if you're a student coming, wanting to study in physics or chemistry, econ, computer science, I think you can feel pretty confident that you're going to get a good education, not only because of what those departments are doing, but because of the past faculty that have been part of it and helped to shape a really successful department. So, if you're, and I'll touch a little bit on this later, but if you're coming, to study in the STEM fields, science, math, engineering, UCSB is a great destination for that. So I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Out of all the public universities in the US, UCSB is ranked number 7. Within the UC system, the University of California system, we're number 3 behind Los Angeles and Berkeley. So not only is Santa Barbara a great place to live, but it's also a great place to study. And you get a quality education that is ranked by organizations that, find the best universities in the country. And so we feel very proud to be on this list and to be as high as we are. So for some people, rankings is very important, and that's, you know, something that they choose a school by those rankings. And so we like to highlight that. If, you know, rankings is not something that you're interested in, I'll have a lot more information for you as well. So a few other things that we like to, a few other rankings that we like to highlight is, you know, as you see there, you know, best national universities, you know, university around the world, you know, global rankings as well. So, you know, again, these are just things that we, you know, like to get out to potential students so that they feel confident knowing UCSB is recognized around the world for, you know, its research, its academics, you know, all those things. So these are, I hope that you'll pardon me while I brag a little bit about our institution. And then I wanted to drill it down a little bit to specific departments at UCSB that have achieved, you know, great rankings or great recognition. And like I was saying, UCSB is known for its engineering and STEM fields. Of course, you know, we offer instruction in all different types of subjects, which I'll show you in a second. But STEM, you know, science, technology, engineering, and math, those are really our strong suits, so to speak. So you can see a few other national rankings of around, you know, among other institutions in the U.S. and how they fare when compared to other schools. So so that's just another way that we are excelling, you know, in the U.S. but also globally as well. So let's talk a little bit kind of more specifically about the international programs. And these would be the programs that you would enroll in, you would be a part of if you came to study with us. This is not for degree programs. So if you are wanting to get a degree from UCSB, you'll have to apply through our UCSB admissions or graduate admissions and go that route. If you just want to study abroad, if you want to experience UCSB for a short period of time or for a long period of time, if you want to be here for 3 months or if you want to be here for a full year, you can do that. Okay, but we are not offering any degrees. We are offering credit, you know, course credit that you can take to your home university, or we are offering diplomas, which are specialized areas of study that I'll talk about in a little bit. So if you are looking for degrees, I saw some questions that had come in about MBAs or other things like that. If you're looking for degrees, you'll want to apply directly to UCSB admissions. Okay, and we can talk a little bit about that if you have any questions at the end. So before we talk more about the specific details about our programs, of course, we all know that COVID-19, the coronavirus, is definitely everywhere in the world. And I'm sure many of you have questions about how it's affecting education or, you know, study, not only in your home country, but also if you were to study abroad. So UCSB has converted to online instruction for summer. We do have a summer quarter. And so right now, online classes are happening. So that was just a continuation of spring where we had to really make adjustments on the fly and do a quick transition so that students could graduate and get the classes they needed and all of that. For fall, they're going to be doing a blended or at least the plan is to do a blended option where, you know, a majority of classes would remain online, but those classes that must have in-person components like labs, like chemistry labs or physics labs, you know, those type of things, those small discussion sections, those are going to be done in person. So there is this blended approach for fall, and I'm sure into next year, winter and spring, they will, continue that in some way. UCSB wants to make sure that all students know that creating an on-campus community and creating social networks and friendships and things like that in person is extremely, extremely important to the educational system of a University of California. So it is never an intention to stay online or to do anything like that. It is just kind of more out of necessity at this point. So because of this, because everything has been online and is going online, there is, a side effect of a positive, in that students that normally couldn't come to UCSB, maybe it's too expensive or don't have the time, could still take classes through us. And so, this last quarter and even in summer right now, we have students from their home country taking UCSB classes. It's an adjustment, it's different, right? But it helps students to experience something different and to at least have some experience at UCSB that they wouldn't have had. So that is something that we have transitioned to as well, and it's been good. So if you're sitting at home and you're like, I want to take a class from UCSB in business or something, you can do that from your home, and I'll tell you how. So that's a one positive and a lot of negatives, of course, but we have seen that help us. And then if you are on campus, if you do come in country and are here, we do have a health center on campus that our students can use, and use our insurance that we provide to students to go see the doctor if you ever think that there's anything going on with you or need to get checked by a doctor. There is a health clinic on campus that can be used. So that's definitely a positive for our students that are here now. And then, just generally about Santa Barbara is that, the coronavirus count in Santa Barbara is low compared to a lot of other, cities in the U.S. It's not too densely populated where people are interacting a lot. There's a lot of social distancing going on. A lot of people spend the time at the beach. So that's really nice. And then UCSB is doing a lot to make, for fall and quarters in the future, to have that be safe. And so, things, even little things as like, in classrooms, the airflow, they're redesigning that to make sure that there isn't any kind of stagnant air. So it's like these little things that they're trying to promote and give to students as being safe. A lot of social distancing options and designs that they're working with in the different classrooms. Hand sanitizer being available everywhere, extra cleaning being done. So UCSB is definitely taking it very seriously and making sure that students feel safe to come back to campus and to interact and to, engage with the academic community again. So those are our coronavirus updates. Of course, we can answer any questions that arise. So let's start talking about the different programs that we have here. And I wanted to start with our most popular, just because it offers the most. So it's called our University Immersion program. And within this program, the entire campus is really open to our visiting students. So students can choose from taking academic classes, whether that's undergrad or graduate. And so when I say academic classes, that means, classes in academic departments like physics, like political science, biology, all of those academic departments, students can enroll in those classes in this program. In addition, students can take our professional classes. So our professional classes are are offered through our larger office, UCSB Extension, and focus more on practical study and professional study, getting you ready for a career in a certain area. And I'll touch on those in just a second. So, and then lastly, students can also take English language classes. So if you're wanting to improve your English language in writing or reading or, speaking, we have all of those options as well. So with the University Immersion program, we call it UIP for short, students are able to take courses from all of these different areas, okay? And that's really important for a lot of students that want to try different things. So, so it really gives you the opportunity to choose, to have a lot of choice in your area of study, and as well as, maybe you want to focus on some academic study, but also you want to, do project management, or you want to do business leadership, those type of things that focus more on, a career. So, so this program is our most popular for that reason, in that you have a lot of choice, right? So to give you an idea of the amount of academic subjects and the amount of academic departments we have here, I provided a list of all the different majors that are happening at UCSB, and as you can see, it's pretty extensive. So I was saying that, STEM tends to be the areas of study that are best for our students, or that are most popular with, I shouldn't say best, excuse me, that are most popular with our students. But like I also said, is that, we have, Asian American studies, Spanish, statistics, global studies. So there's lots of different areas for you to go here. And like I said, all of these classes are open to our visiting students, okay? So I'll leave that there for a little bit longer so you can see, oh, this is something I've always wanted to study, or not. So, in addition to some of the more widely known subjects like, physics or linguistics or whatever, we do have some more, I don't know, I guess nuanced, some more unique departments like Black Studies, Middle East Studies. Those type of cultural studies tend to be really unique, as well as some of the languages, Portuguese, German, Russian, all these different areas that you can learn, and then as well as zoology. Not many universities have that as a specialty, and that's something that we offer at UCSB. So lots to choose from as far as academic study goes. So when I say academic classes, I'm referring to these different departments, okay? Just a few notes that we like to explain to students. When I mentioned 22,000 students, that might seem like a lot, and it is, right? It's a lot of students. But as you can see here, a lot of our undergrad classes have 30 students or less. And that's because, whereas with, an undergrad class, an economics 1, for example, introduction to micro or macro econ, that course would have a very large lecture component. A lot of students, 500 students would go to lecture in that class. But in addition to the lecture, they also go to a discussion section with a teaching assistant where, there's maybe 20 to 25 students, and you can have those discussions and you can go over the material together in a small, more intimate setting. So the reason you see that most of our classes are 30 students or less is for that reason, because we combine, big lectures with smaller discussion sections. You get to know more of your classmates, you get to know your TA, your teaching assistant, you get to ask more questions. So it's really a nice blend of, larger lecture and smaller discussion. And then in addition, our a lot of our research faculty, a lot of research goes on at UCSB, but a lot of those researchers do teach classes. So you're getting a really up-to-date and really fresh look at the field from somebody who's working and diligently working to do research in that field. So, so that's really a nice thing as well. Our other program, in addition to UIP, the other program that is most popular is our International Diploma Program. Okay, and this is really a place or an area where students can specialize in a subject. And so you'll see a short list there. I have a larger list on the next slide. But as you can see, these are subjects, these are disciplines that tend to focus more on, you know, creating a specialty, creating job skills, career skills that you can use after you study. Additionally, UCSB does not have a business school. So this program and, you know, UCSB Extension overall has become the business school for UCSB. Business administration, business leadership, technology management, those type of business related programs all fall under our department. So we have taken that on to become, you know, the destination for business study at UCSB. Okay, so in this diploma program, you can see one of our students here is holding one of the diplomas that he was able to get from the web development program, and it's not a degree like a bachelor's degree or a graduate degree. It's a specialized diploma. So you can use this when you go back home for jobs, for other things, especially in the US, you know, having a diploma like this and showing what you've studied and what you've specialized in is a really nice thing for potential employers to know about you. So, so in this program, of course, the students can take all the diploma classes, whichever subject they'd like. In addition, they can also take the English classes. So if you're, you know, you think you want to, you know, maybe you just don't feel like you have the confidence to engage in a job interview or something in English, then we can help you to kind of combine this professional study with English language study to kind of make that an overall product for you that you can use for yourself in the future. So, and then as you can see, the tuition is much cheaper than doing UIP because taking academic classes at UCSB is more expensive. So if you're kind of held to a budget right now and you're looking for a really cost-effective option, this would be a great option for you. So, and like I said, each program is going to have an option for on campus to be here in Santa Barbara, and then as well as being online. So even if you don't have the time or whatever to come here, you can still engage with us. You can still be a UCSB student from afar. So, okay. Here's a longer list of the diplomas that we offer. And as you're looking at that, I wanted to bring up that this is a really popular route to take for students that want to do OPT. Now, OPT is basically it's work authorization for a year after your studies. So if you wanted to get some work experience or at least some work eligibility to go and interview and do other things, you know, whatever you wanted to do, it's up to you. You can come and do a diploma with us for the academic year. And then after that, you would work with Katie, our immigration advisor, to apply for OPT. So because these diplomas tend to focus on being a professional, you know, all of these classes are taught by, you know, people within the field that are actually working in this. So like, you know, with a digital marketing diploma, we have marketing specialists that are working at a marketing company. They come in and teach these classes. So because it's so heavily focused on being in the field and, and talking about how it works and how jobs work and how, people work within the field, we thought it's a great idea to combine these diplomas with OPT and say, you've done this, you've done a digital marketing certificate, now go get a job in digital marketing. So this is popular for a handful of students each year, and it's up to you, of course. But then once you get the eligibility, you can move around the country, you can move wherever you want and find a job. So this is a good option for those of you that are looking more professionally as opposed to academically. Okay. And then lastly, I just wanted to touch really quickly on the English communication classes we have. If you wanted to come here and study just English, you could do that, okay? We do have, if you have a very low level of English, then we may have to, have you take additional classes, or we'd have to figure that out. But some of these courses do require a little bit of English knowledge already. So it's not for those students that, know zero English. These classes do anticipate that students have, maybe an intermediate level of English. Or if it's lower, that's okay. As long as you're willing to work hard and be here and take the class, we're happy to have you. So these are the main courses we offer each year and each quarter. So if you're looking to improve those, that's where they are. Okay. And now I wanted to talk a little bit, and this would be only for those students that come to UCSB and are here on campus in the US. With those tuition costs that I showed you, that includes all of your study, like all of the classes that you will take, as well as student services. So the tuition is a comprehensive tuition in that it includes everything. So when you come to UCSB, you're only going to pay one time for tuition, and that's it. And you're going to get your classwork, like I said, and then in addition to these student services. So every student will have health insurance. We provide that. That's a US government mandate. So we must provide health insurance for you. So you will have that, and you will be covered the entire time while you are here. We offer unlimited public transportation in Santa Barbara. So you have an ID card that you can use to just scan onto the bus. And that's really nice because not many students have cars while they're here. So you can use that to go around, to travel around Santa Barbara and get around, go to the grocery store, all that stuff. So that's all taken care of. We have a great rec center on campus. It's a big gym with basketball courts, with, two swimming pools, tennis courts, rock climbing, badminton, all these different things that you can do. And it's really, the rec center is it's a big culture at UCSB. Lots of people go and work out and do a lot of active things. And you get, membership to the rec center. You can use it at any time and, play in the different, sports there, different teams, things like intramurals, things like that. So you have that covered. Use of the library, as well as any online academic journals, that's all covered. So you can go and check out books and other things like that. Your access card, which is the card that I was explaining with the transportation. This is your student identity. It doesn't function as like a driver's license or as a passport would, but it does show that you're a student at UCSB. Lots of businesses around Santa Barbara have student discounts, things like that, so you can use that card as well. And then at the end of your study, there are transcripts as well as certificates of completion. We give those to students as well. So those are the services that are included, for students. So again, those are the things that you won't, once you, pay your tuition, you won't have to worry about getting all of these other things. It's all included. Okay. The one thing that isn't included is housing. Students must find housing on their own. And like I mentioned at the very beginning, is Isla Vista is a small student community, a small town right next to campus where I would say 90% of our students live, our international program students, because it's a really fun place to live. If you can imagine, you're right on the beach. You can walk to the beach at any time. You're living among all your classmates and all other UCSB students. There's a really good social life. There's a lot of parties. UCSB is known not only as great education, but also as a fun party school as well. So, and that's something that we like to explain, in that, we're not one-dimensional in that we're, a party school, but that we also combine it with a top class, education. So we own that. We know that Santa Barbara and our students like to have fun and do lots of things and have parties and other things like that. But also our students are ready to go to class at the end of the day as well. So, so living in IV, as it's known, is definitely the typical college experience in the US. If you want that experience, coming here, living in IV, maybe joining a fraternity or a sorority, and really getting involved is really important. So, and really can give you a great experience. So in IV, there is a student residence called the Tropicana, and that's where a lot of our students live. Other students will find accommodation on their own through Facebook or through other means. We have UCSB has like a apartment posting website that you can search as well. So housing, definitely IV is great. If you want to go into Santa Barbara as well, that too could be good. As I was mentioning, the social atmosphere of Isla Vista definitely goes along the bike, skate, surf mentality of life, I guess, as a student at UCSB. If you like those things, or if you want to learn how to do those things, IV and UCSB in general is a great place to be. Sometimes you might even see your professor or your TA skating by you on their skateboard to class. So it's just a really great atmosphere. In addition, also some other student life, some other student, I guess, groups or activities that you can do is there's a conversation program where you can go and engage with UCSB students or volunteers, and it's just a conversation group. And if you want to just meet new people and practice, get your English really where it needs to be, there's that, and that's open to our students. There's an ambassador program which will combine you with a UCSB student. So if you're coming to UCSB and you want to know that you have somebody, a friend somewhere that knows you're coming, you can sign up for this program, and they will pair you together with a UCSB student so that you can get to know them and they can kind of show you around and all that. So that's a really great program. And then a lot of our students take advantage of the club and intramural sports at UCSB. So club sports represent UCSB. You go and play other schools and a lot of different sports. And then intramural sports are, through the rec center, you can create your own team of friends and you can play in different sports leagues, tennis, basketball, volleyball, other things like that. So that's a really fun thing too. It's a really great way to meet people as well as stay fit and do something that's, really popular at UCSB. So, in addition to those student services that I mentioned, there's also so many things that are open to, to student life, as we call it, at UCSB. And then, you know, when you're not doing this, you know, you're in a new country, you're in a new place. A lot of our students go and travel. You know, they road trip with friends and, you know, go to Yosemite National Park, go up to Big Sur, San Francisco, go to Hollywood, go to LA. You know, it's, you know, Santa Barbara is in a great location, of course, in California. We're lucky to be here in California, but also we're right between San Francisco and LA. And so there's just a lot to see, definitely. We also have, for those of you that maybe haven't done any university study yet, we do have a pathway program to a UCSB degree. So if you are wanting to get a degree in or at UCSB, but maybe, you know, you didn't apply to UCSB admissions, this is an alternative pathway to a UCSB degree. And you know, it combines study at UCSB as well as one of our partner schools here in Santa Barbara City College, and really sets the path for you to get a degree at a UC. It doesn't have to be UCSB. It can be a whole other list of universities in California. But if you are a recent high school grad or haven't started your university life yet, and you're thinking, maybe I do want to go to the US for my degree, this pathway is an option for you. So I don't want to go into too many of the specifics because I don't think it's for a large, you know, group of students on this call and for this reason. But I wanted to get it out there so that if you did have questions about this, you can always reach out to us. And we'll give you, you know, all the details. But basically, if you want to take 4 years to get your degree in the US, this pathway is a good option for you. So so keep that in mind if that's what you're looking for. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the F1 student immigration application process. I think Katie's going to get on here and talk a little bit about that process as far as immigration goes and applying to the programs.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as getting your F1 visa to study with us, it's a pretty simple, straightforward process. You start by completing our online application, which you can find on our website for whichever program you choose. And just make sure to include all of those supplemental documents, which is like a copy of your passport, a proof of funds for however many quarters you decide to study with us, and English proficiency and your transcript. So just make sure those things are included in your application because that helps the review time to go by quickly. And then once you get accepted, you'll receive an acceptance email from me, and then this will include your acceptance packet. This packet will include your letter of acceptance, your I-20, which is now, because of the current situation, it is digital, which is great because you can get it instantly as soon as we create your I-20. So it'll be via email. We also offer a verification letter with that I-20 just in case, and you'll need all of these things to get your F1 visa. So it's really important that once you get these documents in this email that you keep it safe, you don't delete it. It's important, but if anything goes wrong, you can always email us. So after you get your acceptance packet, you'll need to make a visa appointment at your local US Embassy or consulate, and you'll pay the SEVIS IA-901 fee. And in my email, will send you a link on how to do that and with the instructions. Then once you successfully complete that visa interview, you get to come and enjoy sunny Santa Barbara. You can enter no earlier than 30 days before your program start date, and you'll find your program start date on the I-20 that I email you. And that's basically it. It's pretty straightforward. Like I said, if you ever have any questions throughout the process, me, Alex, and Jing are all really good at getting back to you and answering whatever questions you might have. We're here to help. And yeah, that's basically it. Pretty straightforward.
Great. Thank you for that. And one thing that I want to commend Katie definitely on the amount of work she puts into corresponding with students in that, we are a pretty small operation. Like I showed, it's me, Jing, and Katie that really run these programs here. And that's a good thing in many ways, because it allows us to be flexible and allows us to really be available to you. So when you email us, when you have questions, you will know that we're going to get back to you. Somebody that's involved in the programs is going to get back to you in a quick manner. And we want to make sure that you know that. So, student service is very important to us. And, without being too large of an organization, it really allows us to make sure to be in touch with each student individually, to answer those questions, to make sure that you never feel like you're alone in doing this. We're always here to help. So, there's that. And so a few things that are going to be coming on to, or in the future, I should say, I guess I'll just describe them. 3+1 is a undergrad plus graduate study program. So if you've done 3 years of undergraduate study at a university and you want to complete your 4th year here at UCSB, we are designing a program to do that. So that's why it's called 3+1. In some cases, it's like a graduate prep program, because a lot of our students are wanting to go to graduate school in the US. So if that's something you want, and you're like a 2nd year university student, 3rd year, we are designing this program currently. You come to the US, do 1 year at UCSB, and that coursework could potentially help you, to get acceptance into graduate study, or into a graduate school. So these type of visiting programs like we have here are great preparation for degree study later on. So some of our students will come to do a fall quarter, for example, and see how they like it, and then say, you know what, I want to apply to UCSB for my graduate degree now. I have this experience. Maybe I could have a faculty member write me a letter of recommendation, and I can apply to the graduate school here or elsewhere. So it really gives you a good foundation for studying in the US. Some of our students have even been hired to come back as research assistants. So just because they came and studied here, they were then hired to come back and do research in a lab. So there are a lot of benefits, of course, for academics to get your units done and to transfer them back to your home country. But you could also view this as an opportunity to try out, to see if you would like graduate study in the US, or if you would just like studying. So there's not a lot of commitment, right? You're not pursuing a 4-year degree. You're just coming for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever you decide. And that might give you the confidence to be like, okay, you know what? I want to apply to UCLA for my graduate degree, or I want to go to the East Coast for my graduate degree. It just is really a great opportunity to learn more and to experience, but possibly set yourself up for success as a graduate student in the future. And then there's also a few hybrid online ESL programs we're looking at. I know many of you had asked questions about English language courses. We do have those in person. We are currently transitioning them to online. So if you're looking for that, we should have those, I would think, for fall. And we can definitely keep you posted on that if you give us your contact or email us to check in. Just because I know I wanted to highlight that, because I know many of you asked about English language classes. So we are transitioning them to online. I hope that's okay with you. I know it's kind of strange to think that you would be learning a language online, but it can be done, definitely. And then this program technically has already been put into place, is diploma customizations. So if you remember, back to the list, we have digital marketing, project management, accounting, web development, all these different subjects. If you are somebody, if you're a student and you like a lot of different things, we can design a diploma for you. We've done this for students. For example, one of our students wanted to take one accounting class, one a web development class because he needed it for his job, potential job, and then one other class. So we kind of designed something for him, and he was able to walk away with a really nice looking diploma to be able to show his company or his interviewers like that in the future. So if you don't want to study just one thing, that's okay. We want to help you to find something that you really like and that is valuable enough for you. So if you want to combine things, that is totally okay. Contact us. We'll make it work for you. We'll tell you what can work, what can't, and then you'll be off and running. And again, you could do this all online too if you wanted. I listed here the best email address to contact us at. Of course, through Viva-Mundo, we are working with them, and if you are on their site, wherever, your information will definitely come to us in some way as long as you ask for it. So help at extension, that's just a way that those emails are, when an email comes in, it's either sent to Katie or to me or whoever. So and we always say that we get in touch with students within 24 hours. So you will get an answer rather quickly. Okay. So I looked at some of the questions that were posted, and I see that there were a few chatted in as well. What I'll do is I'll start with these questions that I found from before the call that some of you had already submitted, and then we can go over the Q&A questions. I can see here as I'm sharing my screen, I can't view the question and answer. So the question and answer box. So I might have to stop sharing my screen or just minimize it.
That's okay. I'll chime on in and ask you some questions towards the end.
So let's start. A lot of you had questions about scholarships, okay? And that's a great question indeed. So we are, as of right now, what we do is we offer discounts for students, especially those students that are coming through Viva-Mundo. If you are working with Viva-Mundo in any way, we can offer, up to a 15% discount for, on those tuitions that I listed there. So right now, we just offer partial discounts, and you can think of them as partial scholarships as well, if you'd like. And so again, that's just a simple, if you have contacted us through Viva-Mundo, we're happy to provide a discount to you. Of course, it's not a full discount scholarship, but we are in the future, and probably as quick as next year, we will have a full scholarship program where you apply for a scholarship, you are accepted for the scholarship, and that will provide basically your study tuition free. You would still need to find accommodation, things like that, but we are going to be instituting scholarships so that if you are awarded one, you do not have to pay for your tuition at UCSB. Okay, so that is in the works. It is not available right now. The best we can do as far as those type of things are our discounts, which are I think very competitive, and at least are something, right? And we want to make sure that we are showing you our commitment to you in that way. So right now we have discounts available to students, and then as the new year comes about in 2021, we will have a full scholarship application and a full scholarship program, so that you can apply to that and get tuition free. Okay, so that is upcoming. We will definitely let you know if you are in touch with us and you give us your information, we will definitely keep you updated on that. Another question about English language, like English level. Like I mentioned, if you wanted to take English classes, just English classes, we're looking at about a lower intermediate level, okay? If you are wanting to do the UIP program, University Immersion, or the diploma program, we do need to see a higher level of English. And for that, we are looking for like an 80 TOEFL, and I think 6.5 on the IELTS. And then we offer a whole host of we accept a lot of other English tests, including Duolingo, Cambridge, lots of different options as well. Now, I say that we usually, we require a score of 80 TOEFL. If you are below that, if you are near that, if you are close to that, we will still consider your application. So say you have a 75 TOEFL, we will still consider that application. And if we think that your GPA, we ask for your transcripts, if we think your GPA is good enough, and your score is not too far off, we may accept you and require you to take an English class in addition to the other academic classes you take. So we do those type of compromises with students so that they feel like you can come here to UCSB, and we never want to say no, outright no to a student. So we want to see if there's a way that we can make it work for you. So if you are below that 80 TOEFL threshold, that's okay. We still encourage applications to come in, and we can see if we can make it work for you. But that 80 TOEFL is really the standard for main campus, and will really give you the ability to listen and to learn in class in a fast-paced environment. So 80 TOEFL is really the level of English that we require. Safety in Santa Barbara, especially now, of course, with a global pandemic, there's that to consider. But which I addressed earlier, in Santa Barbara not being a real hotspot for coronavirus cases, and everybody seems to be taking it very seriously, and the cases being relatively low. But in general, as far as other considerations, not just the pandemic, but safety around just being able to walk around the city and everything like that. Violence, other things. Some of you may come from countries where it's different. But Santa Barbara is a very safe community. It's ranked one of the highest, safety, safe cities in the U.S. and in California. It's a small community. It's a community that gets along well, and one that really respects each other. So, and then in addition to having a big university nearby, the education, the respect that comes out of it, I think really makes the community stronger in that way. So it's a safe community. Will you have to lock your bike? Yes, that's a good idea, to lock your bike. But is it okay to, are you, walking around with friends without a care? Yes, that is definitely that is definitely the norm. Being out at night, that is okay. Those type of things. Santa Barbara is definitely a very safe place to be. Cost of living, California and Southern California in general is not the cheapest place to live. I can attest to that. I'm sure Katie can say the same thing. It is not cheap. So if you are going to be coming here to live, especially in Isla Vista, you'll be sharing an apartment. You might be sharing a room with a roommate to kind of cut down on cost. So if you are sharing a room in Isla Vista, rent, for example, tends to be around $800 to $850 a month if you're sharing a room. So that tends to be pretty affordable for people, but it might not be for you. So that's something to know. Or if you're open to having more roommates or something like that, that's a way to really cut down on costs. So cost of living, I would say, is not, and just being honest and frank, it is something to consider about Santa Barbara, definitely. But what we always say is that you get what you pay for. You're living right by the beach. You're, 300 days of sun. You're walking to campus. You're not driving. There's no other expenses that way. So all in all, I think, our students are fine with paying the rent that's available in Isla Vista, just because it's very convenient in the end. And then I also saw a few people ask about maybe some degree programs, MBA, and I addressed this a little bit earlier, but again, our international programs that I'm here today to talk about, those are not under our department. You would have to apply to a degree program. If you're wanting a graduate degree or a bachelor's degree, you would have to apply to UCSB directly. Okay, our programs are only for students that want to have a study abroad experience at UCSB. Okay, so those are the questions that I took out of your initial questions. I see there that there's some there might be some other. I'm going to just stop sharing so that I can see the Q&A. Okay, I can see here. Do you offer scholarships? So I addressed that a little bit before. If you have any specific questions about scholarships or financial aid, let me know. Should I pay? So I think this question from Anna is about what the tuition is, or how long the tuition is good for. So the tuition the flat fee tuition that I showed in the presentation, that's per quarter. Okay, so that's quarterly. That's a quarterly tuition. And again, that includes all your coursework, all the student services, insurance. It includes all the immigration prep and all of that. So that tuition is paid quarterly. Okay, if you wanted to. We do have options for students that if they want to study for numerous quarters, for maybe 2 or 3 quarters, if you wanted to sign up and pay for all of those quarters at one time, we do offer deep discounts for those. So we usually take off maybe $2,000 or $3,000 as an additional discount scholarship type thing. So if you are wanting to study for 2 quarters, we will offer an additional discount as well if you pay at one time. And so the other question, and I'm not too sure, you might have to clarify your question about an immigrant graduating or graduate at UCSB. And all of our students that come to UCSB have to have some sort of visa or be a citizen or a green card holder, anything like that. So you do have to have certain immigration documentation to study and to earn a degree at UCSB. So again, that's what Katie, that's what she does in her job, is make sure that all of our students are up to policy and updated for the US government, because you will have to have an interview at a US consulate to get your visa, things like that. So immigration is very important to us, and we want to make sure that you are, that you're up to date on all the policies and everything. And Katie does a really good job of explaining that at the start. So when you apply, we'll get your application, we'll be in touch with you. Katie will tell you, here's what you need in order to get your visa. Here's what we're providing you. Anything else that you want to add there, Katie? No,
I think you did a good job of explaining that. Now, are you answering the question about graduating from UCSB?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and it got it, like I said, we don't, our programs don't offer, degrees as a graduation, but just in general, because Katie and I are so involved with immigration and all of that, I can
Yeah.
tell you now that you do have to have
Exactly.
certain documentation in order to graduate. So Carolina brings up a good question about the diploma program, and if there's any diplomas in ecology, biology, and sustainability. So two ways to answer this question is one, in fact, yes, we are creating a diploma that has a really long name. I think we need to change the name, but it is involving exactly that, ecology and conservation. And what I can do is, after I'm done answering this, I'll send you the link to the diploma so you can take a look at it and see. But it's kind of a specialized diploma in that it incorporates academic classes and professional classes. So it's not just one or the other. Like I was saying, the UIP, you would take academic classes through UIP, and you would only take, in the diploma program, you would only take professional courses. But in this case, because it's really unique and it's really new, it hasn't even been, I think fall will probably be the first time it's offered. We are combining academic study and professional study. So it's a really neat program, and in a very timely question from you, Carolina, to ask that. So I'll send you the link right now. And then you had a quick follow-up question, and then, oh, great. Okay, awesome. Well, you, Carolina, as a biologist, you would be a perfect candidate for that diploma. So we would encourage you to do that. Yeah.
Well, I think you have covered pretty much every single question, which has been brilliant. Thank you so much for a great presentation. Thank you all for attending and asking some pretty interesting questions. I'm sure it's helped a lot of you decide your decision to go to Santa Barbara. Any last words from the two of you?
I just want to say that I know at this time in the world, it can be a little daunting to consider, studying abroad or traveling or all of those things. And we completely understand that. I think ourselves have talked about, would we go abroad and do all of this? So we want to make sure that we're here for you, and we really take pride in the service that we can give to you. So if you have any concerns about it, about traveling, we will give you all the information that we can, and we're available. Your email's not going to sit in our inbox for 3 days. We are going to get back to you as quickly as possible, knowing that you need to make decisions. But also, you're probably thinking for the future too. The pandemic and this, the way the world is right now will change. Hopefully, we're not going to be like this for the rest of our lives. So things will change, and we will be back, and we will be ready to welcome you. And during this time, we are creating lots of new programs, just like the one Carolina and I were talking about. So we're adding, and we're trying to create new things. So just want to say that, and we hope that you reach out to us. We're available anytime, and Santa Barbara is a great place. So we hope that you...
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much. And please do remember to visit Viva-Mundo and sign up to our newsletter for any more information.
One quick question is, how can if anybody has any questions from this, can their contact information be sent to me, or how does that work?
I will email you after.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Take care.